Okay, everybody, welcome back to Learn Graphic Design with G2K Designs. Today we are going to be looking into how to make beautiful cartoon using Photoshop, and it is very important that you follow through the steps very well, because it can really be confusing, but if you follow the steps, you'll be able to get it. And remember, it's not just something you just get like in one practice. You know, this is just a kind of like or like a foundation for you. Okay, so you need to practice and practice and practice until you perfect it. Okay, so let's get into it. This is already my workspace. Okay, so if you are wondering how to create a workspace, if you are new to Photoshop, all you need to do is go to File, click on New. Okay, so here, okay, let me decide to name it Cartoon. Okay, so here, this is the width, this is the height, and I prefer to design in inches, and my resolution is always at 300. Okay, to make it sharp. All right, so you click OK. So I think I'm going to work with this space. Let's delete this. So for you to delete a workspace, click on the X here and it's gone. So we are working here. So the first thing we are going to do is to import the picture that we want to cartoon. Okay, so here is a picture I will be working on. Okay, so I want to use this picture because for me, I think it's going to work well for the basics. There are also other complicated cartoons, you know. Okay, so for this particular tutorial, I'm just going to basically base on from the head down to the shoulders. Okay, so as time goes on, I'm going to show you guys how to cartoon the watch and everything, like get a full cartoon, but it's basically the same thing. Okay, so if you follow these steps, you could actually try it on your own and you'll be able to get it. Okay, so for that purpose, I'm going to rasterize this area. So I'm going to cut off this place. So for me to do that, this is the marquee tool. So I'm using the rectangular marquee tool. It's basically a selection tool. So I select. Okay, rectangular means that it's going to be rectangular like this, and I delete. Okay, so that part is off. It's not the part I want to be working on. And okay, so I want to show you guys a little trick. You know, sometimes if you have a picture and you have a logo like this on it and you would like to remove it, hey, come on, sometimes you don't really like it to show. Okay, so here we have synthesis digital shot. So for you to remove it in Photoshop, sorry, you go to the spot, the healing brush. Okay, so here I will use the patch tool. Okay, in this patch tool, all I have to do is just to map out the place I want to remove. Okay, like this. So for you to do that, okay, let me deselect. You click and hold, then you drag with your mouse. Okay, drag it around this area here or wherever area at all. You can also use this to remove spots in pictures and all that. Okay, so here I'm done mapping it out. All I need to do is to drag it to a place that looks similar to that place and leave it, and then Control D. So look at that. Photoshop did a pretty good job in okay, removing it, and you zoom out, you see that it's as if it wasn't there. Okay, and we are good to go. I hope you guys learned that, and don't forget to click on the subscribe button. Okay, thank you very much, and keep your comments coming in. You can tell us areas that you want us to work on, and we will be glad to work on the places for you. Okay, so let's get right into it. So I'm going to drop the tool here. Okay, so the first thing we are going to do is to create a layer. Okay, so to create a new layer here, just click on it, and the layer is just right on top. So I'm going to name this layer outline. Okay, so outline. So before we start, make sure that the foreground color is black, okay, because that is what we're going to be using for the outline. So but it depends on what you want to do. It can be any color as long as you know what you want to do, okay. So but for this tutorial we are going to be working on the black, using a black outline. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is here I'm going to reduce the opacity to say 90 something. Okay, I think 92 is okay. So I hide the background here, okay, so that when I make the lines I'll be able to see it. So the first thing we are going to do is to do cartoon in Photoshop. You use the pen tool. So this is the pen tool. The shortcut for pen tool is P, or you could just click on the pen tool right from the toolbar here. Okay, so for you to be able to do this, you have to master the pen tool. Okay, but follow these steps and you'll be able to get it right. Okay, so I'll zoom in and I use the shortcut Z to zoom in, then click and drag. Okay, just watch how I'm gonna do this. So I click and hold and I drag. You see this? See how I'm making sure that this line that is extended like this is aligning to the lines of his clothes, okay, the outline, remember. Okay, so I leave it. So this line is okay. I click here again. Okay, so just like that, make sure you click, hold and drag, and make sure that you follow the outlines. When you click, hold and drag, it will form curves. Okay, so okay, curving. So I'm using a H, the shortcut for the hand tool. Okay, so for time purpose I'm going to fasten it up a little bit. Okay, come to the end of this line. So all we need to do is to go back again. Okay, so let me zoom in a little bit, okay, so that we can see this, the outlines clearly. Okay, so you see this is the last point. I'm going to go back like this and make sure that you maintain just kind of a little space in between. Okay, so we are retracing it back from where we came. So you notice that there is a space between this line here and this one here, because in between is where the foreground color black is going to fill. Okay, so it's basically the same thing we did. It's basically the same thing I'm going to do all through. So because of time I'm going to rush it and notice that sorry, let me go back. So here when we are coming to the end, you make sure that you connect it back to where you started. See, when the pen tool gets to this place, you will see a 0 just like an O just beside it. So just once you see that, just click on it, because it shows that you got it right. That is where it's supposed to be, to join the lines together. So you click on it, so the lines are joined together. So we come here, the parts, because now I want to fill it. So click on parts, we come here. This is the fill part with foreground color, which is the black color that we selected when we started. So you just click on it. Okay, and you notice that in between has been filled with the foreground color. So let's zoom out and see what we have. Okay, so if I put this and type this, so you notice that we've gotten the outline of the picture. Okay, so we'll continue. So the next thing we are going to do is put this back on, and we are going to outline every other part. Okay, so first of all, let's start with this place, the jaw. Okay, so remember the outline is basically the same thing, okay, that I did. Okay, so for time I'm going to speed it up. Okay, as you can see, it's already looking like it. So let's finish up the outline. Okay, then we'll continue. This part, for this part here, I'm going to do something. Okay, if you notice, the hair is darker than this part. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is create another layer just on below this, and maybe call it a lighter outline. Okay, you could actually name it whatever you want. Okay, so this is back. So what this is basically going to do is I'm going to make it lighter. Okay, so okay, so fill it in with the color, black, then reduce the opacity to say 50. So let's look at how it looks like. Let's check it out. Okay, you see, sorry, see the fill. So now with the ears, sorry, the ears are still there. And I'm going to do, please pay very good attention to this part because it's very, very important. The next thing we are going to do is to add color. Okay, this is a very, very important part of making cartoons. Okay, so we'll add color to his skin, his clothes, and all that. Okay, so for we to do that, make sure you create another layer just below these two outlines here, and I'll name it skin. Okay, so how do you now get a color? Okay, you get the color from his skin. That's how I get mine. So for you to do that, you look for a part where you think is actually like a good color, like his a good color from the skin. Okay, so think here is okay. So I come and you look at this place, these are pixels. Okay, you see that these are different shades of colors. Okay, so he's fair. So make sure that you are looking at this the color panel here, color picker, whatever you want to call it. So okay, I think this is okay. It's okay. These are all different shades, so I think it's okay. So if you look at this place, you see that the foreground color has changed to the one we just picked. So all we need to do is now we could just hide this and work on this. So this is the skin. Make sure you select the skin layer before you start. Okay, so I'm going to color all inside of the skin. Okay, so let's do that. In Photoshop, so I'm done outlining the skin, so I go to part and I fill it in. Okay, so this is the color. Okay, if you look at closely, you see that everywhere, even the eyes and everything is the color. Don't worry about that, we'll work on that. So the next thing we are going to do is to create another layer just on top, and I'm going to call it white. Okay, so here I'm going to paint inside the eyes white. Okay, so I change this, I click on this arrow here and then change this to white. Okay, make sure that the white layer is selected. So with the brush tool, okay, with the brush tool I can easily paint it white like this. Okay, just click and hold and paint all around the place, or I can also use the pen tool and map it out. Okay, map out the place that I want to be white, and then go to parts, click on it, that's covered. It depends on the one you want to use. So here I'm going to use the brush. So if you're using the brush, make sure the opacity is at 100 and make sure you get a hard brush. Okay, sorry, it's very important. So using the brush, I'll color inside like this. Just click and hold and you color inside like this. Okay, so this is the when we started, I noticed that there are these white lights on the white on top of the eyeballs. Okay, so all I have to do is on the outline, this one is going to be on top of the black because it has to be showing. Okay, the layer has to be on top of the outline, okay, the overall, so that when we put the white is going to show. Okay, so we hide this. Look at that. We hide this and bring out also hide the whites. So if you look inside here, you notice the whites here and here. So we are going to, let me name this white eyes. I don't know why I'm calling it that, but you can call it whatever you want to call it. Okay, So all I have to do is use these and map out the area. Let's draw it out. You can also use the brush tool, but you have to make the brush smaller, but I think this is better just because it's going to actually help you map it out better. Okay, so that is that. Come to the parts and cover it up. So white. So let's go and make all layers visible. Okay, so let's zoom out. Okay, so let me hide the, so you notice the white this thing there, you see it makes it look better. You understand? Without it, look at how it's going to look. It doesn't really look very nice, but with it looks more realistic. Okay, so now the next thing we are going to do before I start adding color to the clothes, and you can actually put any color you want for the clothes. Okay, so before you start doing that, we are going to now make the face look realer. Okay, so with this you might think that we are done. We are not done, but we are almost. Okay, so all you have to do is, what will make a cartoon look realer and better is when you add the shadows. Okay, so for you to add shadows, what you are going to do is the picture here, Control J will duplicate it. Okay, make it visible. So here, go to image and adjustment. So if you go to image and adjustment and you don't see that this one is not visible, then it means that the picture that you used has not been rasterized. So rasterizing means that you want to convert it to it's still a smart object, and you want to convert it to a way that it can be editable. Okay, for you to rasterize, just right click and look at the raster. Because I've rasterized, that's why it is not showing. But if you've not rasterized, you can either rasterize it with the rasterized layer or rasterize layer style. So once you do that, you'll be able to click on the image and the adjustment will come. Okay, so all you have to do is go to posterize. Okay, click on it. You see it will bring out the details of the shadows of the picture. Okay, you are not seeing the face because the skin color is still on, but once I click OK, I'm going to turn the skin color off, and you are going to see how it will bring out the details of the shadows of the face. So for the levels, 4 is okay. Click OK. So I will hide this. Now if you look at it, you see the shades. This is where you now see that this is just the normal skin color. Okay, so this is the shade. This is the shade, the shadows of this particular picture. Okay, so what we are going to do is, on the skin layer, make sure you create a layer that is above the skin layer here. Okay, so the next thing we are going to do is turn this on, because this is the skin color you use. So I will advise that any shadow you are going to use, any shadow you want to use, make sure that you pick it from a darker shadow of the skin color that you chose. Okay, or you choose. Okay, so I click on the background layer here and I take it down a bit like this. Okay, so this is a darker shade of the main color here, so I click OK. So I hide this so that I'll be able to see this, and all I have to do is to map out the shadows like this using the pen tool. Okay, the pen tool. So you notice that I'm actually mapping out a darker. I think this place is kind of darker. Okay, so you don't necessarily need to map it out exactly the way it is showing, like all these dots. That is not really necessary. Okay, just get the details. All you need to just go to parts and okay, that is this we just added. You hide this, okay, and put this. on. Now when you look at this, you will say, but it's not really looking, but don't worry, it means that maybe I chose a color that is way darker. Okay, but don't worry, you can adjust that. Just use Ctrl Z and then you come back to this color, and this is the main color. Just then take it down a bit. See, it's not the same as this one again. Then you come to the pattern, fill it in again. Okay, so you see, I think this looks better, but we are not done yet. Okay, so let's see if we can add more shadows. So the more shadows you add to a cartoon, the better it looks. Okay, so let's see if we can add more shadows. Okay, so we'll hide this, we create another layer. So this is shadow, naming it shadow. Okay, create another layer just on top. So we look at this, look at all those the places around here. So I'm going to bring this one just below, and I'm going to call it a light shadow. Okay, because it's kind of lighter than this. So for me to be able to achieve that, this is the one I used. So this is it. I just take it up a bit. Okay, so making sure that it's not the same with the main skin color. Okay, so take it up a bit. So take it up a bit. It's a lighter one, so we hide this and this. Okay, so we are going to map out the lighter areas. I'm putting it under because this one I've already put it on top. So when I put it under, I can actually draw inside any of the places I want to draw, and it will not show. Okay, so I'm going to start outlining it. This is the area we mapped out, but you wouldn't want to just go to parts and click on this. Is going to cover everything. We don't want that. Okay, so what we are going to do is still use the pen tool and map out the places we don't want it to color. Okay, don't want to up. So now I can now go to parts, fill it in. So you see that before everything was colored, but now that we've mapped out the places we don't want it to color, they are not colored. So backspace or delete to delete the parts, and then I hide this. Look at it, looking like a ninja. Okay, so this is the skin. Okay, you see slight difference there. We'll put in the shadow. Okay, so now if you look at the shadow here, this is, making cartoons can a kind of be what will I say, confusing at times. What I do when I get to this level and I can't really differentiate between this and this, I could just come here, select the first shadow that I click on the color of the first shadow here and click OK. So this is how I do it. I don't know how other people do it, but this is how I do it. So I come here, the shadow, double click on it. So I want to change the color. Okay, so color overlay, don't worry, is red. That is the default. I come here and pick back this color. So I have to come and look for a darker one. Okay, so that it can differentiate between this one here and this one here. Okay, so I think this is okay. I think the difference is already there. So for the purpose of this tutorial, I'm just going to do the finishing touches I normally do on my cartoons to make it look better. Okay, so if you look at these lines, you'll be like, all these lines that are here looking all like this and like that, don't worry about that. So what I normally do is I smudge. Okay, so smudging will make these lines here not really be that sharp. Okay, blend it in to the, it will help to blend the colors. Okay, so the smudge tool is this one. You just click on it. I've not seen a shortcut for it. See the blur tool, the sharpen tool, and the smudge tool. Click on the smudge tool and zoom it in. Click. So can increase the strength. So I'm using a strength of 65 there. Let's see how it works. So you select on the particular layer you want. So this is the shadow layer. So just paint over the lines. Just hold your mouse. I think 65 is too strong. 30, okay. And then just the outlines, okay. You see the lines are not really as sharp as it was, okay. So this is what I use to blend in the color. Okay, so for time purpose I'm going to fast forward because it's basically the same thing I'm going to do for all the shadow layers. Okay, so let's go. After using the smudge tool, I think it looks better now. Okay, it looks better. So using the smudge to try as much as possible to master it, look for the strength that is better for you, that suits the design. Okay, so now this, remember that this tutorial video is just to basically show you the basics. There are in-depth, because this particular one is just to show you how to get the outlines well, make it resemble. There are a lot of things that I've not actually done on this cartoon like this, but I just want to show you that even with this you are good to go. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look for a color for the lips. So I'm going to hide the skin color, the shadow color, and okay, I think it has a red lips or something. Okay, so here I can zoom in and pick the color of the lips. I think any of this. Okay, so okay, which one am I going to use? Sometimes it can really be confusing, but just click on the, let me just choose randomly. Let me just use this one. Okay, I think this is okay. And then alright, zoomed out so much. Okay, so now the next thing we are going to do is to make sure that we create a layer that is above the shadow, all the shadows, both the skin, the light, shadow, and the shadow, and then we can name it whatever you want. But for this I'm going to name it lips. Okay, so lips. So all I'm gonna do is I'm just going to draw it out. Okay, so I'm just going to use the pen tool and draw it out. Okay, so let's go to parts and fill it in. Okay, that's that. So come here, I hide this, make this visible, and the skin visible. So you see, right now we are done with the lips. We would like to add a little shadow, okay, on the lips. So we'll have to hide the skin, the lighter shadow, the lips, okay. Then we switch on the posterized picture, okay. We create another layer and we rename it, okay. Make sure that the layer is above the lips and then rename it to shadow, okay. Then you zoom in, you can name it whatever you want, okay. So click on the foreground color and make sure that you choose a darker shade of the color of the lips, okay. So that color was okay, so let's use the pen tool and map out the area of the lips that we need to, you know, color or use the shadow on, okay. Okay, so we'll map out all the places and on the posterized picture, okay. La 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 la. Ah, this beat is cool, don't you think so? Okay, so go to parts and put the color, okay. Okay, you see the white parts of the lips, so for us to do that, create another layer on top and rename it to light lips, anyone you want, okay. So of course change the foreground color to white, then we use the pen tool and map out the area we want to color white, okay. So that's what we are doing right now. And okay, so that's it. Go to parts and then we fill it in with white, okay. Don't worry about this, the white might look too whitish, but do something about that. So you switch on the layers, okay, make it all visible, okay. Switch off so the white is too much, so we reduce the opacity, okay, to the one you feel works better, okay. So for this 20 might look good, but not really. So let's reduce it a little bit, okay. 10 is not really looking good. 15, no, let's make it 12. that's just it, okay. Just make do what works for you, okay. So I think this looks good. You can still use the smudge and you know, blend in the color of the whitish parts and the lips, I mean the shadow of the lips, okay. So use it and paint over it, okay. So I think this is cool, okay. The next thing we are going to do is to we're not going to look at the color of the suit, okay. I'm going to choose my own color, okay. So you create a layer that is below the skin color, that it has to be below every other layer, name it to cloth, okay. So let's map out the place, okay. that we want to color. I would like to use blue. Okay, I think blue. I like blue. Okay. Okay, and then we map out the place we want to color. Okay, for time purpose, we're gonna forward it a bit. Okay, so that save time and all that. Okay, so it's basically the same thing we've been doing. Okay. So go to parts and fill in the color. That's it, blue. Isn't it looking wonderful? It looks good. Okay, so now we're gonna add shadows. I'm gonna add shadows on. Okay, sorry, first of all, we're gonna make the place white. Okay, the inner way. Okay, I can click anywhere and then use the parts and fill the white color. Okay, so when you hide the background, you see the white. Okay, so you see the white is now more pronounced. It's right there. The next thing we're gonna do is to add shadow. Okay, to the cloth. Okay, so create a layer just above the blue cloth. Okay, and then name it whatever you want to name it, but for now I'm gonna name it this. Select a darker color of the blue, hide the posterized might not show it well, so I prefer to use the main picture. Okay, so I increase the opacity to have a better look of the rumpling on the clothes. I think that will give me a perfect view of what I want to make a shadow of. Okay, so I'm just going to map out all these places that are the shadows. Okay, so it's basically the same thing I'm gonna do for all of them, and because of time I'm going to forward it a bit. Okay, okay, so once we're done, we'll go to parts and fill in the color. Okay, and delete with backspace the outline and switch on the clothes color. You see, it looks better, but not really that better. So we have to reduce the opacity of the shadow. Okay, to make it look even better. Okay, to the opacity and reduce it, maybe 50 is cool. So you see it looks better now. Okay, so this is actually the end of this tutorial, and now you've seen how to create very simple and good looking cartoon using Photoshop and your mouse. And I hope you liked it. So I'm duplicating the picture, okay, so that I'll bring it out so that we'll see the difference between the cartoon and the real picture. Okay, so this is the cartoon and the real picture. Thank you very much for watching, staying with us. So make it bigger. Hope to see you in our next tutorial. Make sure that you subscribe, and when we drop another tutorial you'll be notified. Okay, and don't forget to comment and like, okay, and share.